Indian High Commissioner to Fiji, the head of school, the school management committee members, the trustees, teachers, parents, students, the media representatives, the senior government officials, ladies and gentlemen, Bulavinaka, Namaste, Salaam Alaikum, and a very good afternoon to each one of you. I know Ba is always associated with heat, and we can feel the heat today. But to be in this beautiful environment, you forget about the heat. It's the people that matters, and we are amongst our people. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really pleased to join the High Commissioner to commission this school. As you have heard from the head of school, this particular school needed not just classrooms but other facilities which were blown away during Cyclone Winston. Cyclone Winston was the day that caused great hardship amongst our people, and no one can forget February of 2016. Although most of us had never ever faced a Category 5 cyclone, and somehow or the other we underestimated the strength of that cyclone. And the cyclone did ravage the whole country, and we are still trying to build this country back to where it was. After Cyclone Winston, that was in 2016, till today, there are 13 cyclones that did strike Fiji. So every year we are experiencing not just a cyclone, but a cyclone which is of very high intense. And after Cyclone Winston, we have again faced another Category 5. And the last Category 5, or the most disastrous cyclone that I can think of when you read things, was Cyclone Bibi. That was a long time ago, I think in 1972. And after that was Cyclone Winston. Now obviously as a government, it becomes extremely difficult when you do your budgeting, you plan how you want to run the country for the year, what activities you intend to do, what projects you want to do. But then when one cyclone comes in, it's a huge setback. Because then again we have to go back to the drawing board, we have to repool all the resources and reprioritize, and then start fixing the damages. The worst damages are when we hear the bridge has fallen down, or the bridge is broken, or because of the landslide, the whole highway has gone down the drain. Then these are the critical infrastructure that we have to build immediately. And along with this critical infrastructure is the school. Because we cannot tell our children, and neither can we tell our parents, that I'm sorry, we cannot build the school immediately, and therefore please keep your children at home. We can't do that. It's our obligation. We have to make sure that our children are back in school. And one of the programs that the government launched, as you've heard from the High Commissioner, Adopt a School. And during that time, a number of development partners came on board, and they assisted the government to rebuild schools. Now, the way we are rebuilding school is something that we're doing for the first time, and it is very much in line with building climate resilient schools. That is, schools that can withstand Category 5 cyclone. Because it's no point just building a school, in a very quick way, and then the next cyclone comes, the school is flattened again. We can't afford to do that. We can't afford to rebuild schools year in, year out, just because we're experiencing intense cyclones. So this is one school that has been built in compliance with the building code, and it is Category 5 standard. And all other schools that we are building is also Category 5 standard. There is no shortcut. There is no quick fixes. We are determined to make sure that when we build a school, it should last long and it can sustain the different categories of cyclone. And it is crucial that we do that. But today I want all of you to realize the fact that if we did not have these cyclones, what would have been the development of this country? Because after every cyclone, our GDP is badly affected, right? Because we have to redo things. But can you imagine if we didn't have to fix that bridge, if we didn't have to fix this school, if we didn't have to fix the highway, then with all that money we could have gone to another level. But the cyclones are a major setback. But there is nothing you and I can do about it except prepare ourselves to embrace such intense cyclones and move on. That's all we can do. And I must give it to our community. You know, the Fijian community is so resilient. After every flood, after every cyclone, you can still see the smile on their faces. They pick up the pieces and they move on. That's what makes Fijians very different from the rest of the world. We don't sit back, we don't sit and cry, we don't do nothing, we just move on. And we have done that, we have learned to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, education is very critical, it is very important, and the government is committed to quality education. And from 2016 till now, government has invested more than $250 million in just fixing school infrastructure. We agree and we accept and we recognize that the schools belong to the school management committee. It belongs to the community. It was through community's effort that the schools were built in the country. And this is way back in 1960s, 1930s, 1940s. And during those days when the schools were built, of course we didn't have that many cyclones, we didn't have building codes, nobody knew about climate change. And only thing we knew was that yes, we need a classroom, the community will come together, they'll identify a land, this is where we want the classroom. They'll call the village carpenters, everyone will come together and they'll just build a classroom. And most of our schools were built that way. So our schools are really old and it has served its time. What we call urban renewal. So the renewal of the school buildings are urgently required, and we are doing that slowly, one by one, and we'll continue to do that. I want to emphasize on one simple point that not many countries in the world provide free education to the children. Not many countries. Fiji is one country that does that. 20% of our national budget goes towards education. 7% of our GDP is towards education, and we are very much in line with UNDP requirements. So ladies and gentlemen, if the government is contributing $1 billion every year towards education, surely you'll understand that we want returns on our investment that we make. And our returns are in the form of our children that come out of the school system. We simply want our children to be a good citizen, peace-loving, tolerant, they're able to improve their own life and the life of others, where there is love, respect, compassion. That's what we want. But somehow or the other, we are not able to achieve that. And we all must strive to ensure that our children, when they come out of the school system, they are the best, or what I can call, good citizens of our country. Now, time has definitely changed, and with time, the schools need to move so that we are very much aligned with the needs of our children, the needs of the global community, the needs of the workforce, and the expectation that the community places. And it requires a whole lot of stakeholders. It cannot be just done by Ministry of Education alone. We need all stakeholders. We need parents to come on board. We need teachers to be the front runners. We also need the finances to do this. And we need the business community as well as the places where our children will be working. The organizations that offer work to our children. They all need to come on board so that we can improve our education system and bring it in line with the global expectation and the expectation of our workforce. Ladies and gentlemen, we are reviewing a number of curriculum at Ministry of Education, and this is being done so that we can focus more on our children's numeracy and literacy, which is the foundation. We have to have a very strong foundation. If the foundation is strong, we can build many more things on it. If our children are able to read and write, and they become book lovers, good readers, then there is no way we can stop them. Sky is the limit. But we have seen from various research that has come out that numeracy and literacy is one area that we need to focus at primary level. And I'm also encouraging parents that you need to pay a lot more attention to our children. Make them love storybooks. Make them read. Not just reading the textbook. Reading the textbooks is fine, but that's not enough. And the teachers in the primary school, they have a bigger role to play. They've got a big responsibility. Because once you build this strong foundation, the secondary school teachers will be lucky. Because when they teach difficult concepts, the students will understand. But that is not the case at the moment. So we will be changing a couple of other things. As you know, we are not going to test our children from year 1 to year 3. There is no external, or you can say internal examination. But it simply means that as teachers, you can always test their knowledge, their skills, and their abilities. But there is no positioning of students in rank, in an order. We need to stop that, because we actually demoralize our children at a very young age. And please note, when our kids are growing up, like from ECE and onwards, their brain is still developing. And we should not be teaching them extremely hard concepts, because it is time for them to enjoy their sports and be free in life, not be burdened with tough concepts as if there is no other opportunity for them. I've heard that we are teaching descending and ascending order in class 1. And it is of a concern to us, but yes, we have to come up with a flexible curriculum. A curriculum that captures what's happening in the world today. And what is happening in the world today is, of course, climate crisis, health crisis with coronavirus, and now the conflicts that we see. It's quite scary, but our children need to know all these things, and they need to understand how such events have an impact on their life and the life of their family and the society. It's important to understand this. I know as a community you may have seen increase in the cost of living, but let me tell you, we are not the only ones who are dealing with this issue. Each and every country around the globe, they are dealing with increase in cost of living and the fuel prices. And it is the fuel prices which is causing a havoc in our market, and we just have to deal with it, So ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to be here with the High Commissioner, and once again I want to thank the Government of India for their support, for contributing 2.7 million towards Adopt the School program, and such assistance goes a long way. we have been assisted not only in this particular area, but the government of India has been assisting Fiji in many other areas. You have heard it from the High Commissioner, the scholarships they offer. They also build our capacity, and teachers, you can also apply for those scholarships. If you go to the Indian website, or even Teachers Talanua platform, where we normally put out all the scholarships that's issued by Ministry of Civil Service, you'll be able to find some of these scholarships that you can apply, just to build your capacity and just grow with time. So with these words, ladies and gentlemen, we have much pleasure in commissioning the new block and the new infrastructure and new facilities of this school. Vinakavakalevu. So these are the documents for your school, and please keep them safely. Proper records. And from